let me down to a more manageable size here. I mentioned WSL, right? So WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux, again, a technology I really love. If I go in here and type WSL, I am now running in a Linux instance on Windows. This happens to be Ubuntu here. I can say, give me all the stuff there. And you see it has integration with, with the Windows operating system. So automatically my drives were mounted. I can do interesting things like I can shell out and execute Windows programs here without having to leave this, and have full integration between kind of the Windows side of the OS and this Linux side of the OS. Now, it really is Linux, right? So if I go, say, Python 3, right, and I do import sys, and then I say, sys.platform, see, it says it's Linux. Okay, just proof there for anybody who wasn't sure. Now, .NET Core, as you know, is a cross-platform version of .NET. So, of course, it's also going to work here on Linux. So if I go into my folder, in my demo folder here, make sure there's nothing in there at the moment. Right, just a text file, that's fine. I am going to create .NET new console, hello world. Another hello world, but this time I'm using .NET Core 3 running on Linux on Windows here. And if I go into that folder, hello world, I say .NET run, and it's going to execute that template, that console application for me. It just says hello world. And if I look inside that folder, I see program.cs. I can use my normal tools. I like Nano as an editor on Linux. I can also say notepad.exe program.cs. And it opens Notepad on Windows with that file from Linux, right? I can also use Visual Studio Code here. Just type code dot. And the interesting thing about the way Visual Studio Code works is if you're running, say, like a Node.js application that you want to debug, the back end of that Node.js application can be running in WSL, so it's running in Linux. And the front end here, the editing experience and stepping through the debug points and stuff is running on Windows. In that way, if you are deploying a web application or some other application to Linux, you can debug and test in a highly compatible environment without having to leave your Windows workstation. So I can say, hello world, edited from VS Code, and I'll just save that and exit. And then if I do .NET run again, oops, here we go. Now, when you do .NET run, it's going through and kind of compiling it at that point and running it at that point. You can also, with .NET Core applications, you can do a real compile of them and bundle them all together. So they execute quite a bit faster that way, but this command line way is super easy. So you see it says, hello world edited from VS Code. Now, I did say that this is cross-platform. So if I go back out to Windows here, if I go into that WSL folder, so now I'm in normal Windows. If I go into the hello world and I say .NET run here, because I also have .NET Core 3 running on Windows, you see the same code, no changes, ran on Windows as well. So super cool stuff there. Now, one other command